Dear students, we have almost come to the end of this particular chapter, continuity and differentiability. In the earlier sessions, I had considered different types of functions and methods of differentiation, and second derivative also we had worked out some problems. In today's session, I am working out some problems in which either I will be calculating the first derivative or the second derivative, all mixed up problems I am working out. Now, let me take the first problem. So, only the problems I am going to work out. If y is equal to log of log x, y is equal to log of log x to base 7, find dy by dx, that is the problem. So, here I am calculating the first derivative, that is dy by dx only I am calculating. But I had told you when I was discussing about the logarithmic function whose derivative I calculated, the formula for log x is 1 by x only when the base is e, which is the exponential constant. You observe here, if nothing is written means it is e only. Here I have written some other number, 7. So that the log of log x I cannot write 1 by log x here because the base is not the exponential base. Now at this stage, that's why I taught you in logarithm 4 laws of logarithm, log of mn, log of m by n, log of m to the power n, and all the 3 laws already we have used in working out the problems on when we made use of the logarithmic differentiation. Whereas here I am using the 4th law of logarithm, which is called as the change of base theorem. So a logarithmic term can be written as in the form of a quotient by changing the base of that one. So I am writing this y as like log of log x, of course the new base I am taking it as e divided by log 7 to base e. Now I hope you remember this one. This was the change of base theorem I had taught you. Log m to base n is log m to base a, some other base, log n to base a. This is known as the change of base theorem. The change of base theorem of logarithm. Change of base theorem of logarithm. So I am using here, say the new base is e I am taking. So log of log x to base e divided by log of the original base. See, m was the number, n was the base, log m to base a divided by log n to old base to new base. Now this log 7 to base e being a constant, you need not apply the quotient rule here. So when you differentiate, only the numerator part has to be differentiated. So dy by dx equal to, keep that 1 by log 7 to base e as it is, because it is a constant, don't apply the quotient rule, not necessary. Now log of log x, we have done this problem already, log of log x, composite function, log of anything is 1 by something, log of log x means 1 by log x. So this is over, for log x it is 1 by x. So this is the answer, right, in a proper order, it is 1 by x into log x into log 7. For log x into log 7, there is no rule, don't multiply log of 7 into x, there is no such rule here. So this is how we have to solve the problem. So when the base is e, you cannot directly write the derivative as 1 by x. When the base is not e, it is different, then you have to use the change of base theorem, and finally you can get the function differentiated. Now another problem, if y is equal to tan inverse of sin x divided by 1 plus cos x, find the first derivative, find dy by dx here. Now in the inverse trigonometric function, I had taught you to express the given inverse function in a simpler way or express in the simplest form. That is one type of problems I had worked out actually. Now that information, that method comes our help here. If you simplify, if you simplify this function, then you can do the differentiation easily. By chance you cannot remember, no, you can apply the formula as it is because they don't specify the method. See, tan inverse of anything, what's the formula? 1 over 1 plus x square, square of this one. That is, it becomes a composite function. So, tan inverse of is 1 over 1 plus square of this function. This being a quotient, you have to apply the quotient rule. And you may have to use the trigonometric knowledge and you arrive at a very simple answer. But here tan inverse, if you write the here, if you differentiate as it is, the differentiation becomes a little bit complicated. If you simplify the function, differentiation can be done within one line. Okay. Now here again, when we are expressing in the simplest form, outside if we had tan inverse, no, we try to express the function inside the bracket as tan of something. Let us see whether we could do that one. Now it is still y only, I am not differentiating. Tan inverse of, use the half angle formula. It is 2 sin x by 2 into cos x by 2 divided by 1 plus cos x is 2 cos square x by 2. You have to be familiar with all the formula, compound angle formula, multiple angle formula, transformation formula, everything. So 2 and 2 they get cancelled, 1 cos x by 2 get cancelled. What is remaining? Tan inverse of sin x by 2 is remaining. The denominator, another cos x by 2 is remaining. We go to the basic thing. Here we made use of the half angle formula. Sin theta by cos theta. What is that? Tan theta. Therefore, I write it as tan inverse of tan of x by 2. So, we got a simple thing. Tan inverse of tan. Again, a property or a note which I had given helps us to write it as simply x by 2. You observe, it is a very simple algebraic function. So, y equal to x by 2, when you differentiate, don't apply the quotient rule here, dy by dx would be 2 remains the denominator and for x the derivative is 1. So, the answer is 1 by 2. So, we got such a same answer, whatever method you adopt you get the same answer, no doubt. But 1 over 1 plus square of this one, then applying the quotient rule, then simplifying, certainly you get the same answer, but because of the knowledge of expressing in the simplest form, we got the differentiation done within one line and you get the answer easily. So, whenever we have such functions, outside we are having some inverse trigonometric function, just to see whether inside the bracket if you could do the some simplification, if you could express it in the simplest form, then it is easier for the differentiation part. That is what I am telling. So, the differentiation part becomes easier. Now, in the next problem also same thing, but here we have to make an assumption. This is a little bit complicated function. Here y is equal to sin inverse of 2 to the power x plus 1 divided by 1 plus 4 to the power x. See, they are not asking any particular answer here. Okay, they just you have been asked to find the derivative of this one. So, here also I am having sin inverse. So, if you could, of course, inside the bracket it is a complicated function only. If you cannot do any simplification, sin inverse, what is the formula? 1 over root of 1 minus x square. That means 1 over root of 1 minus square of this one. Again it is in the form of a quotient. You have to apply the quotient rule. So, the differentiation will be little bit complicated. Okay. So, what I do is, here inside the bracket, outside we are having sin inverse. I try to write this as sin of something. Here in the previous one I made use of the half angle formula. Here it is not possible. So, I have to make an assumption, try to simplify the function. First I will take only this part, then I will come to the given function. Consider 2 to the power x plus 1 over 1 plus 4 to the power x. Instead of writing this again and again, only that part I am considering. Now, write it as 2 to the power x into 2 to the power. I hope remember, a power m into a power n is a to the power m plus n. I am using the first law of the indices in the reverse order. Now, 1 plus 4, as you know, can be written as 2 square. 2 to the power x. I made use of the first law of the indices. Now here I am making use of the third law of the indices. See, 2 to the power m, a to the power m whole to the power n is a to the power m into n. So I can write this as 2 to the power x whole square. So 2 into x, here also 2 into x. So 2 power x into 2 power 1 over 1 plus 2 power x the whole square. My idea is to have 2 power x both the numerator, denominator, for which I am going to make an assumption. So what I do is now let 2 to the power x be equal to tan theta. Tan theta. Now this is our assumption. To differentiate, we have to go back to the original variable x. Immediately you write what is theta? Theta is tan inverse of 2 to the power x. Of course, this is also a composite function, but better than this one when you differentiate afterwards. So make an assumption for 2 power x as tan theta, theta becomes tan inverse of 2x. So after the simplification, you can go back to the original variable. Now I am going to consider the function. Y is equal to sine inverse of, this is a simplified function, isn't it? So 2 power x plus 1 divided by 1 plus 4 to the power x. Now could be written like this. And what is, you write that one better. 2 power x into 2 power 1, or simply write 2 divided by 1 plus 2 to the power x the whole square. Now use the assumption. Sine inverse of 2 into, this 2 I am writing, 2 power x is tan theta divided by 1 plus 2 power x whole square is tan square theta. Now do you remember? It is a formula in multiple angle. In first PUC you have studied. That is, of course I had recalled in second PUC also. Sin 2 theta can be expressed in terms of tan theta, and this is the formula. Sin 2 theta, you know the formula 2 sin theta into cos theta. But sin of 2 theta and also of course cos of 2 theta, both of them can be expressed in terms of tangent, tan function. So 2 tan theta 1 plus tan square theta, how can I write that one? It is sin inverse of sin of 2 theta. I am telling you repeatedly, inverse and this direct function, if they come side by side, you can, using a property, you can neglect that one. So it becomes a very simple thing, comparatively simpler. 2 theta, that is now right. What is theta? That is why I had written earlier. It is tan inverse of 2 to the power x. While writing, be careful, x should be the index. See, this was also a composite function, this is also a composite function, no doubt. Still, compared to that, this is better. Now differentiate. Dy by dx equal to 2 into tan inverse of x. What's the formula? 1 over 1 plus x square. X means it is 2 to the power x the whole square. So this part is over. For 2 to the power x, we have a separate formula. It is 2 to the power x into log 2 to base e. I am using the formula. It is a power x formula. A power x into log a to base e. Now, let me rearrange the terms here. It is dy by, just to present the answer in a better way, dy by dx equal to 2 into 2 to the power x into log 2 divided by 1 plus 2 to the power x the whole square. Whole square. Now, numerator 2 means it is 2 power 1. Again I am using the law of the indices. A power m into a power n is a power m plus 1. Same thing I had used here to separate them. I am using now to combine them. So this is 2 to the power x plus 1. Okay. Into write log 2 as it is. Now denominator 1 plus, write it as 2 to the power, the 2 you take here, whole to the power x. So that 2 power x plus 1 into log 2 divided by 1 plus 4 to the power x. And why I am writing, you could have stopped here itself, because the problem was given like this. I am trying to write the answer also. in terms of the same terms here. So, this is the derivative of the function. So, here I made use of the knowledge of inverse trigonometry function. For that too, I have to express that in the simplest form. Now, this is how you have to solve the problems here. Now, let me consider a problem in which I am going to consider the second derivative. So, these problems were of first derivative. We calculated the first derivative. Let me consider the second derivative. Here again a particular answer is expected. So, this is how the problem is asked. If y is equal to e to the power a into cos inverse x, then prove that 1 minus x square into d square y by dx square minus x into dy by dx minus a square into y equal to 0. Now, in the previous session, when I was discussing about the second derivative of the inverse trigonometry function, which I had given a hint, that is, whenever an inverse trigonometry function is involved, after the first derivative, you better cross multiply then differentiate. That makes the problem easier. Okay. So, let me start with this one. You can give a number for this one afterwards. Now, if y1 is there, you use y1, y dash is used, use the same thing. So, here dy by dx would be equal to, it is a composite function, e power x. E power x means e power same thing, e to the power a cos inverse x. A being a constant, write as it is. I am applying the chain rule. Cos inverse x means minus 1 over root of 1 minus x square. Now, you cross multiply. Okay. On cross multiplication, we are having root of 1 minus x square into dy by dx would be equal to minus a into e to the power a cos inverse x. Of course, you can write this as the given function y only. I will come to that next step. Root 1 minus x square into dy by dx equal to minus a into e to the power a cos inverse x. Now, let me differentiate again. So, differentiate again with respect to x. So, left hand side, what you have to do? You have to apply the product rule. First function, root 1 minus x square into dy by dx becomes d square y by dx square, plus second function dy by dx into derivative of root 1 minus x square is a composite function. It is 1 over 2 root of 1 minus x square, and for 1 minus x square it is minus 2x. So, left hand side part is over. Come to the right hand side. What do you have here? Minus a into e to the power a cos inverse x. Write that minus a as it is, e to the power a cos inverse x. That is same thing, e to the power a cos inverse x into a into, for cos inverse x, minus 1 over root of 1 minus x square. So, do not write that 1 minus x square as 2x again. So, that is the derivative for the second time. Now, only 2 can be cancelled here. Now, let me write it properly. Root of 1 minus x square into d square y by dx square minus x divided by root 1 minus x square into dy by dx, and then this is equal to minus a into minus a, it becomes plus a square into e to the power a cos inverse x divided by root of 1 minus x square. Now, we want the answer as 1 minus x square, not radical sign. So, to eliminate that one, no, and these two should not be present. So, what we have to do? Multiply by root of 1 minus x square. So, root gets cancelled, it becomes simply 1 minus x square into the second derivative d square y by dx square minus, this is cancelled because I am multiplying by that one, x into dy by dx, this would be equal to a square into e to the power a cos inverse x. This is cancelled. But look at this function. E to the power a cos inverse x is nothing but the given function, which can be written as a square into y, you can quote from 1. So, if the answer is expected only this one, sometimes they ask you show that it is equal to a square y, you can stop here. But in the answer it is given as minus a square y. So, take it to the left hand side. One more step, it is 1 minus x square into d square y by dx square minus x into dy by dx minus a square y equal to 0. Hence, we get the required answer. So, this is the procedure. It is a lengthy problem, but you can expect it for a 5-mark question. These are a 5-mark questions. You can expect it for a 5-mark question here. The next problem, a little bit different from the previous problems. If x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square equal to c square, where c is some positive constant, prove that 1 plus dy by dx the whole square, whole thing taken to the power 3 by 2, whole thing divided by the second derivative d square y by dx square is a constant independent of a and b. That means that when you see here, look at the expression that has to be proved here. First we differentiate, it is an implicit function. You remember that one, y is not directly expressed in terms of x, it is an implicit function. First find dy by dx, then calculate the second derivative. So, take this expression, okay, we are proving some result here. So, here write for dy by dx, square that one, add 1, raise it to the power 3 by 2, then divide that by the second derivative. So, when you simplify, you should get a constant here which should be free from a and b, independent of a and b. What do you mean by independent of a and b? It should not contain a and b. That is the meaning of that one. So, first we want dy by dx, we want the second derivative. So, one by one we are going to calculate here. First let me calculate dy by dx, then we can calculate the second derivative. Now, differentiate with respect to x. X minus a whole square becomes 2 into x minus a, of course into 1 minus 0, that I am not writing, not necessary, because we have worked out enough problems. You know why we should not write, because 1 is there, that is all. Here 2 into y minus b, for y it is dy by dx, right hand side being a constant, a, b, c all of them are constants. So, c square, that becomes 0. Therefore, we have 2 into y minus b into dy by dx would be equal to minus 2 into x minus a, and 2 can be cancelled, which implies that dy by dx would be equal to minus of x minus a over y minus b. Okay. Now, you give a number for this one 1, and you can take it as 2, because we need these results afterwards. So, dy by dx is minus of x minus a over y minus b. Now, you calculate, so first derivative we have got here, we have to consider the second derivative. So, here of course you have to apply the quotient rule here. So second derivative, it is d square y by dx square equal to, keep that minus sign outside, apply the quotient rule. Denominator y minus b into derivative of the numerator x minus a. For x it is 1, for a it is 0. So it is 1 you can write, minus the numerator. What's the numerator? Numerator is x minus a into, differentiate the denominator. For b it becomes 0. For y it is dy by dx, because we are differentiating with respect to x, divided by the square of the denominator, it is y minus b the whole square. Now we have to simplify, do only one calculation in one step. It is y minus b into 1, you write only y minus b, minus of x minus a, come to the value of dy by dx, that's why I have given a number. It is minus of x minus a by y minus b. Already we are having one minus sign, so this becomes a plus. So it is x minus a divided by y minus b. But the denominator is there. See, don't get confused about this one. Only for the numerator I am writing. So quote the result from 2. Now here, keeping that minus sign outside, writing the original denominator as it is, look at the numerator. Here it is some fraction I am having. So it is the addition of fractions. Y minus b means it is y minus b by 1. So for LCM of 1 and y minus b, it is only y minus b is the LCM. So y minus b is the LCM. Write a line. See 1 y minus b into y minus b, it is y minus b the whole square. X minus a into x minus a, that is x minus a the whole square. I am having this minus sign outside as it is. Look at the numerator of the numerator. X minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square. It is nothing but the given function. So using the first result, what you can replace? It can be replaced as c square. Okay, and this, both of them, they come to the denominator position. So I write it as d square y by dx square equal to minus of c square, and these two write together, it is y minus b the whole cube. Now you can take this result as 3. It's quite a lengthy problem. Okay, the function is a complicated function. Now I have calculated the value of dy by dx as well as d square y by dx square. Let us start with the relation that has been expected to prove certain result. Consider, don't write left hand side like that. Consider, what's the result we wanted here? Consider 1 plus dy by dx whole square to the power 3 by 2 divided by d square y by dx square. D square y by dx square. Now this is the result we have to start. Okay. Now we have to show what is the what is that expected from that one. We are expected to show that this after substitution of this one, we get a constant which is free from the constants a and b. A, B, C, all of them are constants here. So we will be having an expression for this one which is free from a and b, any other constant but for a and b. Now dy by dx I have calculated, d square y by dx square, that also has been calculated. Let me substitute in the proper position. It is 1 plus, write this one, minus of x minus a by y minus b, use another bracket, whole square to the power 3 by 2, and whole thing divided by, write the second derivative. It is what you have there, minus c square whole thing divided by y minus b the whole cube. So I have used the second result and I have used the third result. So if you want, you can quote from 2 and 3. Okay, from 2 and 3. So whatever derivatives we had calculated first and second, I have written in the proper places. 1 plus minus of x minus a by y minus b the whole square divided and to the power 3 by 2 and divided by minus c square, that is there, y minus b the whole cube from the second and the third result. Now it is equal to, this is the given expression. Now write carefully. In the denominator, let me write first, minus c square divided by y minus b the whole cube. Let me write that first. Look at the numerator inside the square bracket. We will come to the higher power 3 by 2 afterwards. Here minus square means it becomes plus. How do you write this one? Write 1 as 1 by 1 plus x minus a whole square over y minus b the whole square. Whole thing taken to the power 3 by 2. That is given in the problem. You have to ultimately prove that it is a constant. Now, carefully you simplify the numerator part, that is equal to, take the LCM here because it is a addition of the fractions, y minus b the whole square, and here 1 means it is y minus b the whole square plus x minus a the whole square. Whole thing taken to the power 3 by 2 and denominator no change, minus c square over it is y minus b the whole cube. Denominator I am writing as it is. Now again look at the numerator, x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square is nothing but c square divided by y minus b the whole square, whole thing taken to the power 3 by 2. That is divided by minus c square divided by y minus b the whole, y minus b the whole cube, y minus b the whole cube. Here it is square. Now see, I am again using the law of the indices. I hope remember I had used in one of the earlier problems. A square minus b square can be written as a minus b the whole square using the last law of the indices. So I can write it as c divided by y minus b whole square to the power 3 by 2. Whole thing divided by minus c square over y minus b the whole cube. Now again using the law of the indices, 2 and 2 they get cancelled. C cube, it is c cube divided by y minus b the whole cube, y minus b the whole cube. And what's the denominator? Minus c square divided by y minus b the whole cube. So it's a very lengthy calculation. Now this y minus b they get cancelled. C square you can cancel c times. So minus sign is there, minus c. So what do you get here? Minus c. What was our answer that was expected? The simplification of this should be a constant which is free from a and b or independent of a and b. And we can clearly see that it is independent of a and b. We got a constant which is minus c, which is not either a or b. So I just want to work out one more problem. This is a parametric function. We are just calculating the second derivative of the parametric function. Of course, by calculating the first derivative, we have tried the same problem. Now, after getting the first derivative, I am getting the second derivative. Now, if x is equal to a into cos of t plus t into sin t, t is the parameter here, and y is equal to a into sin of t minus t into cos of t. So what we have to calculate is not a particular answer, find d square y by dx square. Same problem I had given, but instead of t, I had taken theta, that's all. I had calculated the first derivative. So after getting the first derivative, you have to get the second derivative. In this one, the formula is slightly different. I will give the formula, then you can work out the problem. First, let me get dx by dt. Now, a into cos of t becomes minus sin of t. For t into sin t, apply the product rule. So, t into cos of t plus sin of t into 1, because t is a variable. These two, they get cancelled. Hence, we have a into t into cos of t. Similarly, you calculate dy by dt. Here also, a into sin t becomes cos of t. Use another bracket because we have a minus sign. First function into the derivative of the second. I am applying the product rule, plus cos of t into 1. Close all the brackets. Now, this would be equal to a into cos of t minus of minus plus t into sin of t minus of plus minus cos of t. So, these two, they get cancelled. So, in this case, I am getting a into t into sin of t. So, we got the values of dy by dt, and you know the formula for a parametric function. Dy by dx equal to dy by dt divided by dx by dt. Now, the values have been calculated. So, a into t into sin t divided by a into t into cos of t. Now, at, they get cancelled. So, we get here tan of t. So, this answer we had got here. Now, in this problem, it has been asked to find the second derivative. See, in all the other type of function, till the parametric, after the first derivative, directly you differentiate with respect to x, you get the second derivative. A particular answer is asked or not, the procedure is same. Whereas here it is different because it is it's a parametric function I am considering. The answer is given in terms of t, not in terms of x. So, I cannot directly differentiate this with respect to x, this one, d square y by dx square. First, this has to be differentiated with respect to t, then that with respect to x. Therefore, the formula you remember here, it is d square y by dx square of a parametric function should be written like this, d by dt of dy by dx. Remember this formula, divided by dx by dt. Don't apply the quotient rule here. See, this tan of t, whatever you have obtained for first derivative, that has to be differentiated with respect to the parameter, maybe theta or t, whatever may be that one. Differentiate and write in the numerator position. Dx by dt, which is already obtained here, that has to be written directly. Don't apply the quotient rule here. The derivative, first derivative will be obtained. The derivative of that one with respect to t should be written in the numerator. Dx by dt, which is already obtained, should be written in the denominator. If it is possible to simplify, you simplify. So, in this problem, it is d by dt of, what is the first derivative? Tan of t. The reason is you can't directly differentiate with respect to t. Now, this is divided by, here also I am writing only dx by dt. Now, tan of t, if you differentiate, it is secant square of t. Now, you write what is dx by dt? It is a into t into cos of t. It is not quotient rule, don't get confused. Numerator, differentiate the first derivative with respect to t or the parameter, write in the numerator. Denominator, whichever already has been calculated, write it. Now, simplify this one. You know that cos and secant, they are reciprocal ratios. Therefore, you can take it to the numerator as secant t divided by at. So, the answer is secant cube t divided by at. So, this is the derivative. Now, the second derivative. So, whenever you come across a parametric function whose second derivative is expected in the problem, generally it is not given. Then you have to use that result, that is after the first derivative, differentiate the first derivative with respect to the parameter, write it in the numerator position. Denominator, the value dx by dt which is already obtained, write it in the denominator as it is. Then go for the simplification. Now this completes the chapter, the continuity and differentiability. So in the coming session, I will be taking up the application of the derivative, that is what is the meaning of dy by dx, where exactly you can make use of the knowledge of dy by dx. Thank you.